And it's almost like it erases everything that's happened. Everything that previous to this, I forgot it. Whatever. In Eli's mindset, he was racing Jett Lawrence, and he actually felt like he can beat Jett Lawrence. You like give Justin Barcia the benefit of the doubt. Damn, you know that's bad. You know you're on a different level. But hey, I just think Cooper Webb's gonna be a different version of Cooper Webb. Like we're gonna start getting the championship Cooper Webb because he licked that steak. He got into the steakhouse. Jett let him back in.
Little James, Bubba,
Induct you in the AMA Hall of Fame.
But Stewart has found a way to redefine this whole race course.
Oh my goodness.
Fastest guy I've ever seen on a bike.
Will win his second world championship.
you can call him whatever you want. He'll still kick your ass every Sunday.
What's up, guys? You know who it is. Your boy JS7, and you know where we at. We at the Rewind Show, baby, from round 12 from St. Louis, where they had the Triple Crown, and they had some action. Where also, we saw Beast Mode. And if you pay attention to the inside line, you would have picked them because I told you Beast Mode. I had a sneaky feeling that Eli Tomac was coming back. You got 3 different opportunities to go for Beast Mode, and I do believe Beast Mode is going to come back. We don't have to worry about the weather. We don't have to worry about these crazy ruts. We just got to worry about going out there, and you got 3 chances to get it done. 3 opportunities to hit the lotto, and I believe Eli Tomac will hit one. Why? Because he's Eli Tomac. And we had Jett Lawrence coming off of Seattle for vengeance. Would he bounce back because he had the speed? Or would Cooper Webb keep the wood down and lay the wood to these guys again? Well, we found out. And what we found out, there was a lot of action. And we had the AMA. J-Bone was even involved racing in there. So let's get into it. St. Louis, round 12. Don't get freezed. The best part about St. Louis is the dirt. It's one of the best dirts on the circuit. Every year, we know when you're going there, the dirt's always pretty good. Like it's kind of a mix between a little bit of hard slipperiness, like somewhat like a Glendale, but it has some traction in it. So it's nice. Sometimes you get to stadiums where the dirt's too sticky or it's too soft. Well, St. Louis is the mix of both. You get the ruts, but it's also got a hard base to it, so it doesn't get too deep. So I know all the riders like it. I enjoyed it, and it's always brought some good action because of that. So the track had some 90s in it. It was nice to see the kind of an old style whoop section where guys were either blitzing them or jumping it. So you had options to it, and it has some few tricky little rhythm sections. But overall, the track lended for a Triple Crown type of race, and I thought the track started out somewhat, one-lined it, but it opened up as the night went on, and it showed on the racetrack. So after last weekend in Seattle, we saw Jett Lawrence. He's been riding really good all year, and I think for him, he's got that confidence that he knows he's pretty much the fastest. I mean, he might have known that since A1, but now you can just tell by the way he rides, he feels like he's confident. And watching him in practice, I mean, the kid, you can see it. Like you can see where he's going faster, and I think he does a lot of things that's somewhat sneaky. Some maneuvers around like standing up in certain spots and if we watch in practice, and I'll try to show you, he's able to, use his body and use his legs as an extension of his suspension. A lot of these guys do that, like Chase Exon does it. But, when there's a part in practice where he comes across the mechanics area and then there's the triple, and then there's a 180 going down the straight. If you watch him past the mechanics area, like he's going fast, he's got the speed, he comes across the mechanics area, like the bike's sliding around. And what he does is, as soon as he makes that 90, he starts like standing up. And it's a cool part because you can watch him like the bike kind of slides out. There's ruts going up the face of that triple. But what he does is he stands up before he gets to that triple. And if you watch his body, it's like as soon as the bike starts hitting, going off the face of the triple, he actually kind of squats and he allows his legs to soak it up rather than actually having that full force where the suspension is going to drop down and rebound. And what he's doing is it's like he's keeping the bike super light. So when it hits the bike, the suspension is not compressing so much. So he doesn't get so much height. He actually goes forward, and he does that in that section. And he does that in the rhythm sections. And so when you look at where Jett makes up his time, It's actually small things like that. And of course, a lot of those guys do that. But when you watch Jett, it's almost like he's got two parts. A lot of those guys do when they're standing up off the face of a jump or a triple. Obviously, they're not putting as much weight. And so the suspension is like, not rebounding. But Jett takes it to another level by actually standing up and almost squatting into it. So it's really not putting any weight on the bike. So it's kind of like he's losing 100 pounds essentially, hypothetically, where he's not basically he's having his body compressed, so it's soaking it up, and then he's also flexing his legs, so it's soaking up. So it's almost like the bike's going off that triple phase without having anybody on it, and it's just moving forward. So he does a great job at doing that. In the second video we have, you could tell like he kind of slots out going into the face of the triple, which kind of throws his angle off. And he does the same thing, but the bike rebounds a little bit more than it did the first time because he slid out and then he had to worry about trying to cross rut. But it throws him off a little bit more right than he did the previous time. But watch what happens when he lands. Like he misses all those bumps and it actually sets him up really well for that corner. And so what ends up happening is he actually goes lower the first time and actually faster. But the second time, because he slid out and he got a cross run and through to the right, he actually misses all those bumps. And then at that point, he was able to like brake and then turn down lower and then get started going down that straightaway. And if you look at the lap times, that's when he got his fastest lap time. And I guarantee it's probably in that last section because I was watching that practice and he actually made a couple mistakes and that lap would have been faster. But he gained so much time because of what he was doing. And that little mistake, he turned that into a place where he made up time. And I think those are the places that these guys got to focus on and try to get better at because that's where he's making his time. But all that being said, you still had to show up for the night. And it was nighttime.
You have to go night night. You have to go night night.
And you could tell with everyone, Eli, Tomac, Jett knows, and even I know sometimes when we're going to races, I was always thinking I was going to be the fastest. And I think Jett's to this point where he always thinks he's going to be the fastest or plans on being there. But you can tell how close everyone else is. And I'm sure he saw Eli Tomac. I'm sure he saw those other guys being close. And even though you're the fastest, you still look at those lap times and be like, okay, I'm going to have a race tonight. And I believe Jett knew he was going to have a race. Now, what kind of race he was going to have, he wouldn't know that because the last few weeks, Eli hasn't been Eli and Jett, even it doesn't really matter who's there, he's still able to pull away from him. I mean, I think he's getting to a point where he knows how to race everyone, but he hasn't raced Eli and he hasn't raced Eli this way. So as much as he has confidence, as much as Eli's been doing his thing, when they both get fired on all the cylinders, and the one time I would say they were somewhat close, it was in Anaheim, and Jett wasn't able to run Eli down. So he's still figuring that part out. But confidence wise, I don't think he was necessarily worried about Eli showing up like Eli did because he wouldn't know. Eli hasn't done that all year. So going into the night program, I believe Jett was thinking that I feel pretty good. There's traction on this track, and I'm still the fastest. And I still think, like in this Triple Crown, long as Ken Throxton ain't getting out front, then I don't have to worry about somebody pulling out. Well, he saw Eli Tomac out there. And I think what Jett did was what he did in Seattle. Like he was out there racing. He kind of let the race kind of calm to him, like being very, wouldn't say cautious, but make sure you're not getting caught up in the first few laps. Cause like once I get going, just like I did in Seattle, I feel like I can run these guys down. Well, he was doing that. And next thing you know, like that big old number 3 was out there in beast mode, was feeling himself. He was feeling good. And the one thing I said, guys like Chase Sexton, guys like Eli Tomac, they're a little emotional. They run off a little emotional. Eli's trying to find confidence. Eli's trying to look for anything to say, remind himself, I'm toe smacking. I'm toe smack. So as Jett was racing, he's allowing Eli to find confidence. And when Eli finds confidence, we have races like we did. And so I think Jett's mindset was thinking that he would be able to run up like he caught Cooper, like he caught Chase. Because even though I say Chase rides emotional, Chase hasn't had the speed to when he's on and you put them both up there like it was in Anaheim 2 when they had the Triple Crown, Jett couldn't catch Eli. Well, even though Chase might get emotional, Jett's still somewhat been faster. Chase might just be in the race. So I think Jett was planning on, okay, I'll get past these guys, and I'll run Eli down. And he found out something like different. And yeah, at the end of the race, like he was able to catch Eli, but I believe that was lappers because once Jett got through him and Eli kind of got through him, Eli kind of held that gap. And it was the one time that I seen like Eli looked like he was really doing it easy. Even Justin Cooper, like the Yamahas for some reason look really good on this racetrack. And it reminded me a lot of Dallas, like the way Eli was riding, the looseness, like he just looked like things were easy. Even jumping in the whoops. Like at no point did it look like Eli was worried about his motorcycle doing anything. And so I think for Jett Lawrence, he saw that and he was pushing the pace. And I will say this, there's as a racer, and Jett knows this, there was a couple times that Jett got lucky. Like he was doing some things, like he was when you watch this kid ride, it's different than even when we saw Chase. Chase was going really fast, but you can tell, like you can notice the movements of the bike. You can notice like when the front end was almost going to tuck. No point intended, but you can tell when things are happening with Jett. Like he just looks like he's doing it easy, and then you don't notice it until you're like, "Wow, man, he was really close to that hay bale." And then he'll hit a rhythm section, and he'll kind of get squirrely, and you're like, "Oh, that was kind of weird." But he's so talented, and the kid's so good that it just kind of goes in and goes out. So it makes you think that, you know what, he's not really pushing it. Well, I think what's happening to Jett and what happened this weekend was that Jett was trying to run down Eli. And Eli was running a good pace. Clearly, like, even Cooper Webb was actually riding good that first race. So Jett was pushing it. And I think he wanted to send a message because the last thing you don't want to do, kind of the point I brought up at Daytona, once Jett got around Eli, it was not good for Eli. So the one thing he wanted to do was at least try to close in on Jett to let Jett know, even though he knew he was going to beat him, just let him know that I was cold. When things are cold, they not as long, they get a little tight. And once I start warming up, they start dropping it, and then I'm back. That's what Eli was trying to do. Well, he wasn't able to do it. So Jett in that first race, I believe he was actually trying to run Eli down because not that he was thinking about beating him, but to let Eli know that I'm coming. And so when Eli lined it up on the next race, he knew I won, but I got lucky because this kid was coming. And another couple more laps, I probably got beat. That was the message that Jett was trying to send. Well, when you watch Jett, it's like he's riding when he hits some of those rhythm sections, the things that make Jett great. And I talked about this a few episodes ago. He's very patient when he's out front and the kid's dominant out front. The only time he can like mess up was when he's thinking about Waffle House. But the kid's very patient. And what he does around the racetrack, which makes him good, is that he hops around like he's very light on the bike. And he'll use his knees and use his body to kind of absorb stuff. And that's kind of what I was talking about in that practice. Um, so when he's running in the rhythm sections, like he was doing that same thing, but when he's coming up to the pack, the only time that we've seen Jett have a few, minor hiccups is when he's coming up through the back of the pack. And I think what's happening is that he's still riding like when he's attacking those rhythm sections and when he bottoms out, when his bike G's out into stuff, he's still attacking that as if he's out front, as if he's being patient. So he's allowing his body to soak up and almost be an extension of suspension. Well, when you start going even faster and you're attacking even more, he's not really bracing for that. And that's why when you watch Jett, it's like you notice that he'll hit a rhythm section and then it'll get like really squirrely, like he'll get a funny bounce. And the reason I believe that's happening is because he's still riding as if he's out front, being very comfortable. He's attacking the stuff, making sure he he gets patient, allows that bike to drop in. He's not rushing anything. And when you're going, wouldn't say slower, but when you're not hitting it as fast as far as G force wise, you don't have to worry about it. And so his body soaks it up. But when he's bulldogging it, as I say, like a Jeremy Martin, because he's trying to catch Eli Tomac, he's actually hitting it harder and he's not prepared for it. Therefore, you notice Jett hit a jump and he'll go right or left. And the reason my whole point is that he's actually a lot closer on the edge than what it looks. And because the kid's so talented, he saves those things and he moves on and then he does something that's so beautiful that it makes you forget that this dude almost ran off the track a few times. Well, I saw that this weekend, and especially when Eli was behind him in the second race, those moments were close. And I think that's the part for us as fans. And, even if I'm Eli Tomac, I watch that and I'm like, man, I'm a lot closer than the actual results are saying. I feel like I can actually get at him because as a rider, you know what that looks like. You know how close, 1 inch or 2 inches over here, the race is over. And, Jet Lawrence had a few of those moments. So it was good to see Eli show up and, after the last few weekends. And it was cool also to see Jet raise his game because the kid's phenomenal. But, both those guys were on edges and it was great to watch it from home. So going into the third race, you were thinking that, okay, Jet Lawrence won the second one, Eli won the first one. So it was all tied. But we saw what happened at the end of that second race and where Jet jumps on the red cross flag. Now, I actually thought maybe it was going to be a technicality where it was like, okay, the race is over. So does that really count? Like I hit the checker flag, the red cross. But nonetheless, we all know you don't jump on the red cross flag. And before you really say he didn't see it, or halfway through the air, like he realized what happened. And so I think out of all positions, I think what happened with Jet, he just beat beast mode. And Eli won that first race. He was somewhat celebrating. He's going down the straightaway, not really, paying attention. I mean, he's out front. So and when you know that, when you're in a position, the last thing you're thinking about is seeing a red cross flag. I mean, the race is over. So he sees that the checkered flag is waving. He sees that the red cross. And I think because he was in the moment of being excited for what he just did, he just jumped. And that was it. Like he jumped. He knew it. He saw the red cross flag. Yeah, it wasn't waving, but the guy was also waving the checkered flag. And the guy was off, I think maybe Vince or somebody was off the side of the track. So I don't think the official would be super like, crazy about it, like trying to stop him because he's worried about landing on it. So I think that's why he was holding the red cross flag out. And I also think since it was the checker flag, once you get to the line, you don't necessarily have to jump. So I believe that's another reason why the AMA guy was just holding it out because there's no race. Like hit the checker flag, the race is over. I'm holding this out so you guys know you don't have to jump. The guy's off the side of the track, so I don't need it's not like super immediate danger, but we need you guys not to jump this. So I think that's why he was holding it out without waving it. Nonetheless, the only person that probably should have saw it was probably Jet Lawrence. Because I think even with Cooper Webb, like and those guys were racing. Like they had other guys going on. And when you're racing, you see the white flag because they jumped it on the white flag. So you see one flag flying, and it's kind of like when you're going down the road, driving down, you might see the McDonald's sign like out of the corner of your eye, but you see that little like blow up thing that's be like going like this, right? Like that's why they have the mannequins or guys on the side of the road when they want you to notice something. That's why they be spinning it. They got a guy in the gold outfit, so he's moving. But yeah, you saw the Panera Bread sign, like you saw it over there out of the corner of your eye, but you were concentrated on the slap man, whatever he's doing. Well, when you got Cooper Webb and those guys, they're racing someone in front of them. They know it's a white flag. They see it waving. And I don't think necessarily they're looking at dude in front of them. I don't know if they even saw the red cross flag. And particularly the way they were coming, like they were actually in the inside coming out and kind of fading towards outside, where Jet actually went outside and then he came back in. And the whole reason I say I think Jet was more in the mindset of just winning the race and not really thinking about that was because, he kind of goes in the corner laxy daisy and then he kind of just rides up to the jump where he's not like fully in the zone. Cause I think if he was racing or Eli was behind him, I think maybe he would have saw it because he'd have been more concentrated on what he was doing and maybe saw that flag. But nonetheless, he jumps on it. He in the middle of the air. You knew he knew it. He looked back. And that's where you go back to if you didn't see it, then he wouldn't have reacted because he wouldn't even have known that it was even there. And I don't think the rule is it has to be waving for you not to jump it. I think if you see the red cross flag, it's pretty clear whether the guy's waving or not. So it wasn't, at the end of the day, it was Jet. And, I think he kind of takes responsibility of it. I'm sure he was probably bummed that the guy was off the side of the track. And like I said, the only explanation I could see would be that it was at the end of the race. there was really no immediate danger as far as the AMA guy having to run out on the track and wave it and cause all chaos. But he needed those guys not to jump that, and therefore they didn't do it. And so, I think that was the point. Even with the white flag, there's one lap, and I think it's still that same situation where it's not like the guy's laying on the racetrack. So whatever it is, Jett jumped it and it costs him two position, which means he's going into the last race a few points down on Eli. And I think Jett was bummed out, obviously, but the race to me was still in front of him. I think he would have had a hard time because the way Eli was riding, he would still probably finish second. But knowing Eli Tomac and knowing the race, it might be different when you're thinking about mindset. Like, would Eli go into that third race and be like, I just need to finish behind him? Or would he go into it like thinking that I want to show this kid I need the confidence, and my confidence after the first race, this kid caught me. Yeah, I got caught up in lap race, but he caught me. The second race, I was there. And even though he pulls away, I was still the same pace, but he beat me. I couldn't do anything about it. So the third race, his mind's prepared to go out there and beat this kid. Well, if Jett Lawrence gets in front of him and pulls away, what does that do to Eli? Does he okay with second place, or does he end up third or fourth? Well, we'll never know. So going into the third race, Jett knew he had to beat Eli by a couple of positions. But to be honest with you, I don't think Jett was necessarily worried about that. Once he got docked, he knew that possibly the way Eli's riding, most likely he's going to get in second. I think it was more about Jett having a mindset. Same thing I was saying about Eli, that mindset of like showing up and winning that race, like for the future. It was about the future because in reality, Eli's really not in the championship. I mean, yeah, he's in it, but he's not necessarily in it. Nobody predicted what was going to happen in the Barcia incident. So the mindset between Jett and Eli, I think they were going in the last race, the mano y mano, because both of them were around pretty good that night and they wanted to race. So even though Jett had those penalties, I think he was really like too bummed on I'm gonna lose this overall necessarily, rather than I think he was worried about getting at Eli. Therefore, the third race happened. He doesn't get the best starts, and then next thing you know, bam! Like that's how it was. Like at first we were like, whoa, welcome back. Welcome back, Bam Bam. Like, where the hell did you come from? And then when you're watching it, you see he was worried about getting freezed on that thing. And so at first, it was like we were concentrated on like, damn, did he just? Yeah, he did. And he hit it. But at no point did I think that Justin actually went in to hit Jett like that. Like I know he didn't. So there obviously was a more of a reason, and you could tell when you first see it. You could see Vince Freeze on the inside, like you knew something was going to happen on the replay, and it was scary because, as I said, all these guys, I mean, even the most aggressive rider, they're not stupid. And that was stupid. For him to try to go in and hit him that way, that would be stupid because not only would it hurt Jett, I mean, it would hurt Barcia. I mean, literally, he's running into a wall. And Jett ain't no little dude. And Jett be getting on the gas. So the G4s, my calculations a little off, but it wouldn't end good. And as Jason Thomas said, I don't even know what he was thinking. Like there was no plan. Well, the plan was not to get his ass freeze because that's what his plan was. His plan was not to get ended up like what Jett did. So Barcia was going in the angle, the only possible angle that he knew he could walk out alive. Because even though he went to that line, Vince Freeze still could have got in and maybe gave him a little wheel tap. And so, that's his whole concentration was about not letting Vince get to him because the man was going backwards down the racetrack. You look at the angle, he was going backwards. The incident could have been a lot worse. I mean, both of those guys did a good job at somewhat bracing each other. Like Barcia knew when you look at Jett, Barcia knew as soon as he slowed down, he started cutting down, and Barcia was trying to get on the brakes, and they end up hitting. But when you watch Jett, he took obviously a lower line. Like you could tell that he was actually going a lot lower than he was anybody else because there was really no, I guess, ruts or anything there. It was kind of flat where that bottom part of that corner, you could tell where guys are riding at, even if they squared up and went down the inside, like where Jett was going was pretty like low. And the reason, I mean, he already had that plan going down that straightaway because he stays really close to the outside up against those tough blocks. And he goes up in that berm and then he has to slow down quite a bit to make that turn and shoot down. And, I think for him, I think he was trying to set up so he can have the option going down that next straightaway to be able to either go inside and maybe try to get on the inside of his brother or go outside and hit that triple. So by cutting that corner lower, one, you miss all the roofs, but you put yourself on the outside, which it was easy getting into a 90, going from the outside to the inside or staying on the outside and railing that corner. So I think that was Jett's mindset was the next corner. I don't think he was necessarily worried about, being where he was. And the one thing I will say, um, when you're used to being out front, you're used to being around fast guys, and it used to happen to me a lot. Obviously I had the Ryan Dungey incident, but
Back around Stewart, and Dungey goes right into Stewart!
I had another one. I had a few, but I had another one in, I think it was 2007, Indianapolis, where I was dead last off the gate. And it was the first lap. I came by, hit the triple, and I did exactly what Jett did. I'm in the middle of the pack, and I cut down. And I think it was Matt Gorky or somebody ran into me just like that. And luckily for me, it was a slower part of the track, and it was just a different. Matt wasn't worried about getting free, so he wasn't coming in with the speed. But my point is, when you're out front and you're used to being around different riders, when you get bad starts, you don't really think about those things. Like you don't think about if I cut down on the first lap, that I have to worry about something like this happening. Like, because you're just used to, I don't know, just being out front or used to having, things, that incident not happen. And I think that's a part of like winning and just always being out front. That when Jett cut down, like he had no thought that he was doing a U-turn in the middle of the intersection. Like he didn't think about it with grandma. Like, you know what? She's the lights, when those flashing like green ones, it's a flashing red one. Like he ain't thinking about going out, you get bam. And that's what he did. And so for him, he got lucky because that could have been a lot of incident. We thought at first that maybe he broke his arm or whatever. But luckily it was just like a bad bruising and just because these dudes are tough and he's laying on the side of the track. But so also I will say this. I think this will change Jett. This possibly can change Jett, not in the injury wise, like because he's going to heal up, but just the mindset. Because I do know when that stuff happened to me when I got hit with Dungey, I wasn't up front. I really wasn't making passes like that. But next time you're in those spots, like I believe Jett would start racing the first part of the race, like nervous, like he might be a little bit more hesitant doing things. And as a racer and anytime you're doing something dangerous, any type of hesitation brings in other problems. So it could change Jett as far as just that was it could change Jett like my presentation I was giving you, just like that ding dong just went. It could change your mindset. So I think for here, Jett obviously realizes that was on him. I think, even with Justin, I don't even think it was really, I wouldn't even say really on Jett. I think it's one of those things that, like, all right, I cut down in the middle of the pack. I shouldn't do that, whether Justin's there or not. I end up getting the bad end of the stick, but it's on me. I can probably avoid that from happening because I don't got to worry about Justin trying to take me out. He wasn't aiming at me. And Justin, he was so shook. Dude almost pulled out the racetrack. You could tell he didn't want to do that. And, Vince Fees is out there still trying to freeze people. Like you're not even in the race, but it just in the race, just freezing. Vince didn't do nothing. He was doing what he was probably got done to him. His mindset was going to kill Bam Bam. Why? Because maybe Bam Bam did it to him. Whoever.
Today your ass is gonna die, bitch. Say goodnight, motherfucker.
Some people it's just in their genes. I gotta knock him down. Just do it. So I don't know what happened, but something was about to happen. Maybe it happened before. But nonetheless, Jett doesn't have to worry about any of that incident. And he should look at this as, yeah, I know the points that got cut down. I know Eli he could be back. He could be back, which is another person that, I'm not saying, but he is on Yamaha. And Cooper Webb is 8 points back doing what Cooper Webb does, just there and just nothing special, but he was special. And all of a sudden, this gap cut down. Now, if I'm Jett Lawrence, I'm just going to look at, just like the beginning part of the season, this has been on me because riding wise, I think I got these guys covered. So in the beginning part of the season, I felt like I had these guys covered. It was me who was jumping off the racetrack. It was me who was getting up in, Cynthia, daddy, talking all that noise in front of Susie. Siggy, trying to get up in that action, knowing that Jason is shoot everybody. So I think if I'm him, I'm just leaning on the fact that I've been pretty good. And then if I ride, I stay up, I can handle this. So that 8 points, it's 8 points, and it's 8 points. I don't want it any closer. And I was to the point, and Jay was to the point where he was talking about, man, he was gonna start like having like the race was gonna be dictated because of the points lead. Well, he is right. Race is gonna be dictated because of points lead. It's just now I'm gonna have to race. So for a fan's point of view, it's on. And I think, as I said, even with Cooper Webb, I'm not even talking about him, but I'm talking about Jett. But I'm talking about Cooper Webb, even though I'm talking about Jett. Now he got to worry about that dog that you hung that thing out and he licked it. He licked that steak. You still got the steak. You still got it. But you don't let dude lick it. Now, so he's slobbing. He's slobbing all out. And now he got his homeboy. His homeboy saying like, well, I'm kind of full. Like, I got my win and I know you hungry and I can't really get the steak. I'm like on the chain. My chain doesn't go that far, but you can get the steak. So maybe if you get the steak, maybe you'll break me off a piece. And Eli Tomac. And the whole reason I'm saying that is because I think Cooper maybe has the steak opportunity to eat at the Kobe Steakhouse, and he might throw Eli some bones. So even though Jett Lawrence ain't worried about Eli getting the steak, he got to worry about Eli maybe being in the way for Cooper Webb to get the steak. That's the point. It's a lot at stake. So Jett Lawrence need to hang it up and just be like, dude, I got to go out and dominate it. And the good thing for him is that he owns a steak restaurant. Like, he still has the cows. It's up to him whether you want to give it to him or not. But right now, it's on. So I think he has to worry about that. And I know Chase Sexton, he's still there. He's still trying to get him tipped out. And I think after seeing Eli Tomac, we all believe now. We all believe. Because Eli Tomac, even though he's different from all these cats, clearly, he's still Eli Tomac, which gives guys like Chase Sexton hope, and they'll come out and try to get him. So it was good to see. But Jett Lawrence, lucky, I'm glad to see you get up. You land on the ground like a little baby that got his booty whooped. He's like, ah, you know how it is. He's like, ah, he's down emotional. Probably the emotion was like, remember last year, maybe the year before, I said, when guys that win a lot, when they hit the ground, they have a different reaction the way compared to guys that get like 5th, 10th. And not saying Jett Lawrence, he was hurt. He was hurt. But sometimes, like, when you're all about winning and your whole thing is about winning, your whole mindset is winning. And when that happens, you're like, life is over. I quit. Ah, hang me. That's where he was. So everything was ended. And then he realized damn, I just got hit by a bus. Now my hand hurts and all that. So for him, he was able to get up. We saw him do his stuff. He was still out there trying to bump around and stuff. And it was kudos for him to get out there and ride. I mean, it showed me some heart. But I think for him, he's going to have to race, which is better for us. And I think now guys like Cooper Webb, guys like Eli's going into a week that he was, from last weekend, he was thinking about, like, was this even worth it coming back? As I was telling you, like, there was something that was just different, like something that was different. And he kind of said it, but now he realizes it's worth it. Little Johnny got to see daddy win. Daddy got to win. And Eli looked, when I watched it, Eli looked like it was easier going that pace than even Jett Lawrence. Like, Eli, I thought he was like, all right, is he going to just pass, dude? All that being said, all that started changing in that second race. Not the first one. He won the first one, Eli, but it was really the second one. But I ain't going there yet because I want to do something special for Eli. I ain't ready to talk about him. I want to talk about Mr. Wood. Mr. Webb. That's what it was. Yeah, Cooper Wood. Webb. Now, he didn't do nothing, did he? Nope. Actually, I think Cooper was riding pretty good. That first race, like, Cooper had some speed to him. And even I think we looked at lap times, even though Cooper had some speed, where I noticed, I was like, damn, he still wasn't the fastest. But he was actually catching those guys at one point. And that's kind of what he does. Just gets up there and just does whatever. And I don't really know, like, Actually, I wouldn't say I don't know because I do know. I was gonna say I don't know how much this changes like Cooper, his mentality, but I do know actually. I think Cooper can be a dog now. The things that I said that Cooper wouldn't start doing, I think he actually might start doing. When I was like, yeah, you haven't really seen him mess with Jett. Like you haven't really seen him do that. Like you haven't seen him line up next to him. You haven't seen him like really running in on him. Like, yeah, he came in at Glendale, but I think he was actually trying to avoid him really. Now, even though I don't think it's going to be super blatant, and even though I might say this and I might predict something not to happen, like I see all the time, I just think Cooper Webb's going to be a different version of Cooper Webb. Like we're going to start getting the championship Cooper Webb because he licked that steak. He got into the steakhouse. Jett let him back in. And yeah, I know that's what's going to happen. I know whether it's lining up next to him or just the way he races. Now Cooper really has a chance to be there. And the reason I had a little hesitation is because how he got here. Like this is the one time he's gotten here without being some kind of instigator or the reason why. And yes, hold up. He is the reason why, because he has to line up and go out there. And I did say because Cooper Webb's present, maybe dude jumped out the racetrack. But in the past, even last year, he had that race in Tampa. Like he was there and he was putting on pressure on Chase because at that point, Chase, and it was Chase and Eli Tomac. Those were two guys. And then all of a sudden Cooper came in and yeah, he was there, but he really wasn't a threat. Then he won Tampa, and we're like, oh, okay, all right. And in the past, like he's presence, and he was there in Roxon, and he stayed there, or Eli. Like my point is, he was there making things happen because the way he was riding, and he was putting under pressure. Where this situation, it's like, okay, you were a lot. Jett was faster, even when you had the Woody. He was faster, and he ends up going down. But at some point, you're like, man, maybe even Chase should have won that race, but you were able to do it because you were Cooper Webb. And then in this race, like you were there, you were around okay, but it took J-Bone and then Homeboy getting bammed and not freezed, and then that points gap cuts down. But he didn't get here because of the Chase situation or in the past. So it made me hesitate. Like, I don't know, would he change? Like, would he have that mindset? Because I think the difference is that he knew that he was the reason why he can cause the reasons and all these incidents to keep happening and happen for him to get this close. He could be the reason for that to happen because of what he's doing. Where this time, I don't know if he feels like he's that reason. Does he feel like, well, man, I'm getting it. So something's telling me that like this might be mine's, but I don't know what that is. So how can I attack this dude when I don't even know what it is? Because every time I race against him, he beats me or he's been better. It's up to him to allow me to get a piece of that steak. I haven't taken it. So does that change? But I just think Cooper's Cooper. I think his mindset is going to make him believe that Jett, he set up Justin to get freeze, which in order like Jett to get hit. Like that's what he's going to tell himself. Like he's going to tell him like, oh, I needed Eli to win this race because I needed Eli to be like beast mode. That's going to be because I'm not as quick as Jett, but I think he might be. So if I get him back up there, he's too far in the points. And that once we get close to it, he's not going to like slow me down. He's going to be helping me. So I need Eli to be there to help win, to beat Jett, because then he's going to possibly hit the ground. I don't know. That's what he would say. It didn't make any sense what I said, but that's what makes sense in Cooper's. And I believe maybe that's what he's going to be. He's going to bite his leg off like Dan Campbell and the Lions. I'm biting legs. That's Cooper Webb, biting legs.
The way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right.
All right, bro. Like, nobody even brought up a leg. I don't care. I'm biting kneecaps. That's what it was. I'm kneecapping. I'm about to pop kneecaps in these fools. That's Cooper Webb. So whatever it is going to be, he licked the steak. He's going to get a piece of that steak. And I think now Cooper is going to see everything that's at stake. And he's going to get it down. And Jett's going to have to realize. And Jett's going to have to ride. Otherwise, steakhouse is going to be the Webb factory. Or it's going to be the Woodies. I mean, Webb's. But that was all because of Cooper Webb. That's his mindset. But Chase Sexton, he rode all right. He was there. He was fast, but he wasn't on this level. I don't think the the bike was as good as what he wanted to be, or Eli was better, because this weekend, Eli was better than everybody else. I mean, even at this point, going into that last race, Eli, the one thing I will say about Eli, and I'm about to talk about him, Chase, you cool. You doing your thing. Everybody else, y'all doing your thing. I wanted to get here, and now I'm here. One thing about Eli, and it's different from the past when he was struggling. You ever notice when Eli has to do something, he does it? Like, since he's been on the Yamaha, when he has to, like, show up and he needs to start, and when he decides he wants to go in, he does it. Where even on the Kawasaki, maybe he was faster. Maybe he needed to, like, go out there and he might be in the same situation, but whatever changed his mindset, it went from, like, you would think, oh, okay, all right, like, is this dude gonna forget how to ride a motorcycle? Because he did that, to you just have to believe. And I think this year, because of how good Jett is and how we somewhat feel like Jett's allowing these guys back into it, you haven't seen enough of beast mode. Beast mode haven't really been found. And even though this was closest to beast mode, like Eli, I think he still can be, I wouldn't say faster, but I think he would just be more confident, to where you saw what happened from that first race. Eli won that first race. And yeah, he was feeling good. Practice would say, okay, you put him out front. He's done that before. I mean, Triple Crown, he got like 10 and then came out because he got to start. And said it at that point, it was all dictated on circumstance. Circumstance, he got to start. He knows he can ride. He can ride. And he knows Baby Jett still at confidence wise, he can catch him. But he was able to win. But where things really changed was that second race. Yeah, I know he got beat. But when you think about Eli and the way the season's been going, and I only talk about things that I experienced, situations. I know when you like win, you don't really believe that you won, right? Like Eli was fast at first moto. And even though he got caught up in the lappers and he was able to pull away from Jett, and his mindset, he still don't really like know, because Jett did catch him. And there's reasons for it, but hey. So he goes to the second race, like, okay, I want to get a good start, whatever. Jett gets a better start. He's in front of him. But I know what happened to Eli. And same thing happens to me. Like, when the guy that is the fastest, that the guy that is causing all this chaos in your mind and thinking all this stuff, when you can see him and he's not pulling away from you, or you catch him, that was it. That's where the race changed. That's where everything changed at. That dude was different from that point on. And it was about 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever laps it in, because I can't remember and I can't count. It's at some point in that race where Eli catches Jett Lawrence. And you could see things flip. Because just like in some of those heat races, when he was riding against, Jason Anderson or whoever it was, like, you could tell when Eli was riding, he started over jumping a little bit more in the corners. And the Yamaha got a little louder. And there was more roost coming off. And then he started doing turn down for what? Turn down for what? He was starting to do that. Well, you saw that happen in the second race. He started going outside. He was railing. It became a point where Eli realized that, damn, I'm still good. And this dude has been this good. And it's almost like it erases everything that's happened. Everything that previous to this, I forgot it. Whatever. In Eli's mindset, he was racing Jett Lawrence, and he actually felt like he can beat Jett Lawrence. Now, I don't know what the reason was that, like, he was there at the end and, Jett pulled away. I think, whatever it was, like, Jett was faster through the whoops, and Eli, even though he's close to being Eli, like, he still maybe got another level, and all the confidence doesn't come back immediately, and he was just waiting for the third race. But the fact is, I could tell the way the dude was riding and the way he looked on that bike. I was waiting for Eli to pass Jett. I'm like, yeah, that looks easy. And as I was saying about Jett, when he was hitting stuff and sometimes getting a little squirrely, I didn't see any of that from Eli. It just looked like Eli was like, all right, I'll just get him next moto. That's what it looked like. And then that gap at the end, even though that was a gap, don't look at that gap. Like, there was some point in that race that Eli looked back, realized third ain't going to catch me. I'm going for the third race, because I think I can beat this dude. And the reason I say that is going back to the beginning part. I said, when he's been on form, every race that he needed to be up front, every important race, Eli Tomac pulls whole shots. Eli Tomac's up front. Go back to Paula 2022 when him and Chase, winner take all. Chase was on it. Chase got him to business, or even back it up before that. That same 2022 Ironman. Chase, all the form was on him. Chase was the fastest guy. Eli, oh man, like maybe this is the new age. What happened? Eli came out that first moto and gave dude the business. I mean, not business like Gap beat him by a million miles, whatever. Like, that was alone. Why I say a million miles? Just, beat him by a minute. No, he just went out and won. And at that point, Chase was trending. Chase had all the momentum. Eli stepped it up. Then it came to Fox Raceway, Paula. Eli went out and won that race. Last year, when all those guys were closing up, Daytona, Eli went out and won that race. Eli came when the championship. It was actually Nashville. Chase was coming. Eli went out and was out front. Like everything that he's had to go and step up, Eli does that. Well, that third race, Eli out front. Eli out front. And I don't even know. Jett would have been up there. It would have been a good race. The reason I say that is because I know when dudes know. And when dudes know, they want to be up front. And Eli in that second race, once he let Jett go, you knew that, like, you were like, all right. And he even said it, like, all right, I got to change some lines. Like, I'm not going to be able to get him at this race, but I'm confident enough to go in this last race and be like 101, because I actually think I can beat this dude. And why I think I can beat this dude? Nah, not because I beat the dude in the first race. Nah, I mean, yeah, it's because he didn't run away from me. And when you're that type of athlete, Eli Tomac, Ricky Carmichael,
What did he say?
Jett Lawrence, all these athletes. I mean, even Vince Freeze, when he knows he's about to freeze somebody, his mindset, I'm about to freeze the field. Like, they all got to know, we stubborn. Like, we stubborn. We don't care. Like, we don't care if we just got work. Eli don't care that he was like in whatever place last weekend. He don't care. You give us a little hope, man, we'll take everything. And that's our mindset of knowing that, like, I always said, like, we're very mental. Like, we can go the other way really quick. Like, we can get in our head. Like, I never believed that I was as good as I was, ever. Didn't matter who I raced, no matter how many times I won. I just never thought I was that good, ever. But at the same time, like, when I wanted to switch into the other gear, I can make myself believe that these dudes don't got a chance. They don't got a chance. Don't matter how many times I've been beat. And I think that's what happened to Eli. Like, he made himself believe that he's still there. And even though there was no proof in the pudding, in that he even have no ingredients, like, he made himself. And that's what all these guys do when they make their mindset up. Man, they're the best athletes in the world. And when you're talking about one to one, the greatest in our sport, when he decides to do that, then you get that level. And I do think when he pulls that whole shot, he was going out the road. He was about to give Jett business. Like, I don't know if he would have gave it to him, but his mindset, he was going to go give Jett business. And Jett ended up getting bam, 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 whatever. But Eli Tomac, it was Eli Toe Smack. And it was nothing. Nobody was going to stop him. Like, I don't even think anything. And it was great to see that. And yeah, I could talk about, the bike looked good. And I could talk about that track looked like it was in Dallas. And last time he looked good, it was like in Dallas. But it don't even matter, because this dude, it finally started finding forms. And after the injury, it's a big relief off his shoulder. And so for Eli, he comes back, wherever they're racing at next, Nashville, I think it is, or one of those races. If he comes back and he does something, Cole's shaking his head saying no. But Nashville's coming up. Foxborough. All right. But Nashville's coming up, right? He might not do it at Foxborough, but he might do it at Nashville. So, hey, at one of them races, Foxborough, Nashville. If he comes back and does it, then that's all you really know, because I think it comes at a perfect time. There ain't nothing better. So if you're struggling, and just like I was in 2014, like in the outdoors, like I was struggling, and then I was able to win one moto, and then I was able to win both those motos, and I went into the off break. We all know what happened during the off break. We ain't got to talk about any of that. But when you get in that spot, like, and you have a week off to build on this confidence, shit. When you kind of mental and you kind of riding up and down on the roller coaster, that thing's going up. You get to ride on the, Mount St. I don't know, Smack, whatever, Toe Smack. You're going up. You're going to live on that for 2 weeks. It's going to be on. And considering that you trying to get your boy, he trying to get the steak, you're going to help your boy get out. It's going to be good. So congratulations, Eli. Last time I won was in St. Louis. I don't think this is going to be the last time you win, but St. Louis, man, y'all saw some great stuff. But one thing that Eli hasn't had since he blown out the Achilles, that was a long time ago, was one of these. And I'm gonna just hold up. I'm gonna savor it. Savor. It's Eli Tomac, people. You should watch the inside line. If you did, you'd have been like, you would have got a neck burn. You would have got a neck burn. But Eli, he's got a race win. But it was like a triple crown. But it's been a long time since he got one of these. So hit it for him, Cole.
Suntan, next on fire.
Burn! You went from being like, remember I was saying he was like Eli Toe Black. Yeah, well, my toe black. It was Eli. He was becoming my brother. He was getting so many neck burns. He was getting burned. And he got a neck burn. He was like 49, 50, 51. Now he got 52. So congratulations, Eli. Seriously, I was pumped, man. I was pumped. Pumped to see all these dudes win. Jett, glad to see you all right. Justin, ain't your fault. Ain't your fault. Vince, keep freezing people. Doing what you think. You didn't even do nothing and people blaming you. How do we know what you were doing? You just going down the inside. Maybe you were worried about getting chizzed. You never know. So we can't even blame you, but we blame you because it's just easy to blame you. So you know it's pretty bad when you like give Justin Barcia the benefit of the doubt. Damn, you know that's bad. You know you're on a different level. But hey, you never know. So it was good to see him. Glad to see all these guys going. And I guarantee you, it's about to be some great racing. AC, what up, dog? Sorry to see you get hurt. Your mechanic, cool dude. Give a shout out to him too. Wish you well, 4 wheels. AC, I'll see you soon, baby. See you soon. All right, people. I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere because he's going to figure it out. So either we'll be right back or we won't. And the 250 class. Boy, what has happened in the last couple of weeks? Now, all year, Levi Kitchen, he's been good. Pretty good. But it was a lot closer than I would say we all kind of expected. Like that class was pretty legit. You had Jordan Smith, then you had RJ doing RJ kind of stuff. You had the rookie Juju Bean, but he's been up and down. But it wasn't looking like this. And then all of a sudden, Seattle came by. Levi went home. Levi had some friends come over and say, hey, I'm going to bust open the chef. The chef is in town. And boy, has this last 2 weeks been dominant. I mean, dominant. I haven't seen a dominant performance since Levi. I mean, really, just the difference between the way he was at Glendale, colorblind, decide not to jump on triple on the table, Jordan Smith jumping on him. I mean, we were saying that, yeah, Levi's been the most consistent. And yeah, he's been fast, but not the fastest. We thought RJ kept doing RJ stuff. And then Joe Shimoda, once he figures out to get out the gate, he going to be dominant. And then you had Jordan Smith was like obviously the fastest one, but he kept crashing, keeping the visor on sometimes not. And then, like I said, we went to Seattle and dude just dominated. And we thought the 20 seconds, all right, it was just Seattle, George Smith, he going across the track. RJ, he didn't like really fall. He just didn't ride that good. And Joe was still, I don't know what Joe was doing. Joe was up there, then Joe fell. But nonetheless, we just thought Seattle was an outlier. And then we came to the Triple Crown. That boy whooped ass. That boy whooped ass. I know I said the word twice. That's sorry. Levi put on a dominant. He looks like a whole different dude. This is the kid that we saw in amateur. Actually, we didn't even see this kid in amateur. This kid looks even better. And Mitch Payton, after the last few years, I'm not even going to say anything. But just this is the right team, the right situation. It's kind of like when Ryan Dungey went on that 2015 KTM when they brought out the Dungey version. When he got that bike, dude was different. Well, Levi is different. I said it before and I'll say it again. I want them jeans. Girl, you look good when you back that thing up. Girl, you look good in Levi's jeans like that. But seriously, anyone else that's racing them, RJ, Joe, Jordan, if you ain't in the kitchen, you're going to lose. But seriously, Levi looks good, and I'm pumped to see that. I think for him, it's always awesome to watch a rider almost come into form. And it didn't seem like anything changed. But when you watch Levi ride on the reel, he knows he's better. Like, he knows he's better. And to watch him in the 250 class and watch guys in the 250 class know that they're better, it's like when maybe Jett Lawrence is at his peak. But even then, I don't know if I even saw it like this. Competition is different, but no, I mean, Levi was there. The dude just elevated, and it happened so quickly that we were all like, all right, we actually thought we had a race, but you go racing, you never know. But Levi, you keep those kitchens open. I'm moving to wherever you live at right now. I think you might be here in Florida. Who cares? I'm coming to the kitchen. Can I get an invite? Can I get an invite? Cooper would like an invite. He wants some steak in Levi's kitchen. But Levi, yep, it don't matter what if Far East Coast get off the gate or not. It don't matter. Don't matter if Jordan Smith sends that text or not. He gonna get dumped. And Jordan, keep your head up. Keep your head up. You riding good. I like the little thing with the girl and all the comeback and injuries. Man, you got hurt a lot, so you should be pumped. Perspective. And RJ, I don't know. Just keep doing what RJ does. You good. But Levi, I gave it to you last weekend. It was your first time. And then you win in Triple Crown again, which you've done it before, but you didn't do it like this. You dominated all three. Sometimes you don't win none, or you win one and you get it. But this time, you dominated all three. And what did they say? You led the last 488,000 laps. That's what it feels like. And the best part about it, you know you better. And the best part about it, after you got the first neck burn, you wanted another neck burn, and you're going to get another neck burn. Well, I'm already kind of ahead, but I'm planning the future. If Levi rides like this, it don't matter who he racing against. And I'm telling you one thing, people, the kid's going to be a better 450 rider than he is on 250. Sorry. But Levi, you know what? Never mind, Levi. Cole, hit it for him.
Suntan, next on fire.
I know there was a delay, but that was pretty much like your gap between first and second. That's the gap between everybody else. It's the delayed. Even the neck burn, people can't even keep up because Levi is gone. Levi Kitchen, you got that new insurance claim. You put all those nice tables. You got the girls dancing up in the balls. You got all that stuff. It's suit and tie only. But then you be giving it free like charity. You be working them boys like charity. Keep giving out them donuts. Keep giving out them turkeys. Levi, keep the kitchen open. It's pretty good. All right, people. That was it. That's all I got to say about 250 class. I said a lot about 450 class, so hopefully you heard all that. So you know what we got to do. I don't know if we're going to commercial. I said this before, but I think we have something about you people because you people be sending in these awesome questions, which we got to answer. So let's get into it, Cole.
Will Parsons asks, will this translate into more victories for Eli, or is this his last Supercross win?
Will, yeah, it's an interesting question because I actually thought about that Saturday night. And as I would say, no, I didn't think St. Louis in 2014 was going to be my last Supercross win because I was finding the peak. I was able to beat Ryan Villapoto, who won 4 championships in a row or 3 in a row. And I thought I did it. I wouldn't say easy, but wasn't that hard in the sense of I felt like I can repeat that. And at that point, I won 3 in a row. So I didn't think that was going to be my last win. I think for Eli, it's not going to be because he ain't trying. I think if he gets more, it's going to be because it is. Now, I don't see like getting to 73. Like, I don't think that's where he's going. And I don't know if this is enough to, after last night or Saturday night, I don't know if this is one of those ones that he's like, I'm going to race next year or even in the future. But if he's going to win, it's going to be, obviously he gets confidence. I think if Eli has this kind of performance and rides the way he feels the way he did that second race against Jett and feels like, you know what, by running that pace, I can do that. He gets that be comfortable and he doesn't feel like he's taking a lot of chances, then yeah, he'll have a few more. We just don't know if he can replicate the speed, like consistency, and where he doesn't feel like he's taking that chance. Cause that's really what it comes down to. But I hope it's more. I mean, I hope he is one of many. It'd be nice to see.
So Cordell Keller asks, do you think Eli views this as a hard-earned win, or is there some doubt in his mind knowing that Jett was penalized and then taken out in race 3? Does he truly believe he has what it takes to beat Jett moving forward?
Yeah, Cordell, or whatever Cole said. Man, I love my fans, dude. I'm telling y'all throw real questions because that is a real concern. Does he? I don't. I don't know. I mean, truthfully, at this point, I think Eli would look at this win as not as if it was given to him, but he would look at it as he's been handicapped the whole time. He's starting to find his form. So I probably would look at it as Jett's been lucky because I've been handicapped. I haven't been more myself rather than I got lucky, Jett went out. I truly think the way Eli took off that gate in that third race, he felt like he was going to win that race no matter what. And that's all you need to see. So doesn't matter what we believe, it's what he believes. And I think Eli's going to be, I think this is what he needs. He's already won too much. This is what he needs. So I think he's fine.
Perfect. Very well paced there. TW127 says, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the penalties given to Jett, Anderson, etc. in the second race, and the thoughts of the medical flag placement. In the pictures, it seemed like the checkered flag guy wasn't holding the medic flag. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was tough for those guys. I think the one that probably got the most affected was Jett Lawrence because he's in the championship and he's got a lot more to lose. Now, granted, it was kind of a wash for him. Cooper Webb got docked 2 positions, so it was basically you dropping them both down. Like it's not like it was a race where the points were actually in that race, like the 25, blah, blah. Now, the thing that got Jett was obviously the last race, but I think for him, he's the one that probably had the the best option, the best angle to see it because there was nobody around him. Cooper Webb and all those other guys, when they jumped it off the white flag, I can see how they missed it. I think with the AMA, it's probably a hard spot to be in because one guy jumps it and then the other guy jumps it. You can't dock one person because you think he saw it and not dock the other one. And I think when Jason gets it twice, that part it's a little hard to swallow because the race was over. So I understand the Jett Lawrence 2 penalties, but then Jason got it for white flag and checker flag when the race was over. He got docked 4, but the rules are the rules. It doesn't matter if you get caught speeding, how fast you were. If you're going over the speed limit, you get caught. You're speeding, right? So I think the easiest way to fix this is exactly what AMA is doing. Make the rule black and white. Like whether you can see it or not, the dude did have it. I think I can see how they could miss it for a router's point of view, but the point is they didn't miss it. The problem is when the first person jumps it, then the other guy's going to jump in no matter what. Even if he saw it, he's going to jump in anyway, or even he gets locked in. So whatever, the rules are the rules. I've been on that side. There ain't nothing we can do. You're speeding, speeding. Simple as that.
eMorris59 asks, how do you feel about having communication devices in the helmets to tell the riders about flags or downed riders?
Yeah, communication devices to tell the riders about flags. I guess I wouldn't be, opposed to that because that's safety. Believe it or not, I don't even know if you would hear it. Like truthfully, when you're in, it's funny how you can hear the crowd, but then your own motorcycle is not too loud. It's like muffled, but then you can hear a guy coming up on you, and you can tell a lot of different things. You can hear guys yelling, but I don't think you would hear a guy actually talking to you because the way your mind is set and you're so focused on what you're doing. It's like I don't know if you're watching a movie and somebody's talking to you, you know how you hear it, but they sound like muffled ants. I think that would be the same thing. So if it was just safety, like, yeah, nobody's opposed to safety. I think it would bring in a lot of other things because if you allow that, then what they can never talk to you unless somebody else is going to be down. Well, as soon as they speak, then people are going to be shutting down. They're going to shut down. So I think it could be hard unless you open it up to all communications. Well, when you got that, then you're going to be like, go inside. Say NASCAR, we can look around. So I think the riders are aware enough and they know. And they also know at the same time when somebody's down hurt, you can tell by the way the guys, the flaggers are there. And Dirtworks and Alpine Star, the medical team, the AMA, truthfully, they do a pretty good job at letting everybody know when there's danger. So I don't think you need it. That's not having the devices in their ear ain't going to stop somebody from hitting that thing. It wouldn't stop them. mean, not the trouble that it's going to bring. So I think it's probably a pass on that one.
Okay, so Epitome of a Moto Dad asks, what % do you put on Jett for the Barcia Jett crash? Him turning down like that on the opening lap, knowing there's a group of bikes behind him coming into that turn really seemed to be a bad move. But what's your take? Who's to blame or at fault for the incident?
Yeah, good question. And I'm going to answer it in a way that I don't know if I would blame anyone. I think just racing, truthfully, because it's not a situation where the intent, either rider had intent to the other one. Like if he had intent to go in there, like, so racing incident, like when Jordan Smith jumps on Levi, okay, whose fault was it? Like Levi not continuing speed or Jordan thinking that Levi was going to continue? Like maybe that's not the best explanation, but I think Jett wasn't aware. So if you want to put blame on someone, maybe you put more on him. But it, I I'm not even gonna put blame on anyone. I just think it was bad luck. Truthfully, bad luck. That's it happens all the time. Maybe not to that extent. Every time you got to worry about getting freeze, the chiz, the bam, you got to block the inside. So I think Jett was just, instead of putting blame, let's just say he was lucky to walk out of there, both of them. So yeah, I'm not trying to not answer it, but truthfully, when I got knocked out with Dungy, I wanted to blame him, but it was partly my fault. And I think he thought it was his fault. It was racing. So it's racing. It happens. All right, guys. Thanks for the question. Like, really good question. Maybe I should just host the show, like the rewind show of the questionnaire show. I don't know, but thanks for the questions. It was good, as they always are. Hey, but you know what time it is? My favorite time, your favorite time, stews and stews. And guess what? We ain't got to go to no commercial, right? We ain't going to no commercial, right? Yay! Yay! Levi, where you at? Oh, that was, Levi. He was happy. All right, people, you know what? First thing, as we always do, as we always get into it, these are two special stews, and they're special in different ways. One guy got his second, Triple Crown, this is kind of what he does. Actually, both guys, that's kind of what they do. Well, last weekend, it was the first time he got, like, the actual neck burn, and that was Levi Kitchen. And then this week, it was like he went there, and he was like, all right, I can't figure out which kind of jeans I want. I'm buying everything. And he showed up at the prom, decked out, and he knew he looked good. It was like boring. Boring. Levi was so dominant. It was boring. Not to him, though. So Levi Kitchen, I'm going to give you a stew, not because you won Triple Crown, because you won Triple Crown, but you ain't win the Triple Crown like this. Not because you led all them laps, because there's been a lot of laps led, but because you did like a transformation. Like you were like Captain America. Like you were skinny, and then all of a sudden, like you couldn't be like denied. Like you just blew up overnight. You look like Barry Bonds.
Huh?
Too far? But Levi, you a stew. Transformation like that. We need to check you out, son. Levi. And then you get on the podium, then you realize it's Levi, because you're like, dang, dude, you know what, the dude's so dominant. Dude, you're like, oh, hey, Levi, you just like a fun person to hang out with. I'm going to get you in, Levi. If I ever take you down, you won't be leading those laps on the golf course. I got you. All right. And then this next person, yeah, he needed one of these. Boy, he needed one of these. And I don't even think he got the neck burn, because I don't even think they do the neck burns. Do they do the neck burns still? Do they figure it out? It don't matter, because he did it in a place that I did it. And it was my last time doing it, but I don't think it's going to be his last time doing it. And he's had plenty of these. And that's Eli Tomac. Eli, welcome back, son. Now I saw what you did. We all saw what you did. You were out there riding and you were scrubbing, and we thought like, all right, cool. That's what he does. Like he did that, but he ain't gonna do nothing. He ain't gonna do nothing. Like he be fast. And then he came out and he won that first race. We're like, oh, cool. But then people, like, they ask the question, like, oh, dude, does he really feel like he can beat Jett Lawrence? Like, you know what? Like, as some people would say, you get old, you get tired. Well, you got 3 of these main events, so you're going to get tired. And then Jett caught him that first race. And then the second race, you were like there. And I was like, all right, cool. But he didn't want to get past. He didn't want to get past him. So we was wondering, like, all right, see, that was nice. It was nice to see him. And then the third one, you came out and you whole shot. We were like, oh my gosh. Well, maybe not everybody, but I was like, oh my gosh. And the next thing I knew, I was like, oh my gosh, did you see Jett Lawrence get? Oh my gosh, did he got Bam Bam? It's like, oh my gosh. And then you saw Vince Freeze. You were like, oh, that makes sense. You know, I was like, dang, all right. He came in there. What do you expect him to do? Like, he was going down the road and he was like, dude, I ain't going to die. You know how this dude, ask Christian Craig, you know what it's about. I ain't trying to figure that out. I'm Bam Bam. I can't, my reputation is not to get cut off or get hit. I can't do that. Discriminating doesn't look good. So when we saw that, we were like, dang, okay. But then Lee, I don't know. I'm talking about Eli. That's how it was because it was up, down. We saw Levi. We like, there's only going to be one dominant first. And then we saw Jett Lawrence. He looked like when he caught you in that first race, that was going to be over. But then you were like right there. You weren't even the second fastest. You like fourth or something like Cooper Webb was like there. And then the second race, it looked like when he pulled away from you, he was way faster. But then he was like 1/100th of a second faster. It didn't make no sense. And then third race, I mean, you just dominated. You went back to old 2023 Jett Lawrence. But that was because, Jett Lawrence, wait, are we there yet? Nah, we not there yet. You went back to the old 2023 Eli Tomac. We ain't in 23 and 24, but I know where I'm going, people. That's Eli Tomac. You a stew because come on. Do I even need to say anything? He's a stew, people. Like, for reals, Eli. Congrats, man. Congrats. It was good to see. I know what you got. It was nice to see it again. Welcome back to the winner's circle. 52, got plenty more. And I'm going to keep on going. I'm going straight into the Stew's Confused segment because I've said so many up and down. I call people Eli. I call Eli. Wait, that's his name, though. Jett Lawrence, Eli. No, I was saying Jett Lawrence. Then I called the kitchen. It was closed. And I said RJ. RJ wasn't even in the segment. None of this is in the segment. So this must be the Confused segment. It doesn't make any sense. It always makes sense. But people, what we saw was dominating performance. We saw that the beast mode, barefoot, whatever you want to call him, the alien, he came back. We saw Levi just shut everyone up. He said from Captain America, skinny little man, to saving the world. That's what Levi was. And get on the podium like, I'm going to take James out in the golf course. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're good, but you ain't that good. Hey, just kidding. Levi, good job. Eli, good job. See, that's the problem. Levi and Eli, way too close. Way too close. But people, no one stewed. I don't even think Jett Lawrence is good. He probably was like, damn, I live on there. Like, he was too busy on the hurt. Like, Bam Bam was like, no. Vince was like, freeze him. Oh, snap. I ain't mean to like do that. So how can I get blamed for something I ain't even do? And then Chisholm was like, well, this ain't the LCQ. I ain't got to take it out. So he cool. But nonetheless, nobody's mad. Everybody's happy because we get the race. They get a week off. And people, that was it from round 12 for St. Louis, where you saw back the beast mode back. Welcome back, Levi. See, there it is. Levi. Welcome back, Eli. And welcome, Levi. Damn, that dude was dominant. All right, people, I got to go. I can't really figure out how to walk out of this. Are we good, Cole? We are good. Bye-bye now.